The overwhelming messiness of the ultimatum becomes apparent the instant you start trying to explain the rules.
At the end of the week, you'll each choose a new partner.
But it's a messiness we can't get enough of. So, what really went on behind the scenes on our new reality dating obsession? How the cast was picked. In an interview with E! News, the Ultimatum creator Chris Colin revealed a few secrets about the show from which fans were kept in the dark about. As far as finding couples willing to air their dirty laundry to the world, he said their team did everything that normal casting teams do when looking for cast members, like scouring social media. But he said the thing that they tried differently than other reality dating shows, they tried to dig deep into the community and talk to people and go to bars and places where people hang out. The crew had to drill deep to find couples that were genuinely facing commitment issues in their relationship.
In your relationships, one partner is ready to get married and the other isn't quite as sure.
Choosing a location. Just like on Love is Blind, the Ultimatum creators' cast is in a specific geographic area. Netflix chooses to feature couples who all live in the same city so that it is easy for them to date and live with one another. And they wanted to make sure if someone is going to make a choice, it works for them in the real world. The first season of The Ultimatum was filmed in Austin, Texas, because Colin said it sounded cool and it is a great city. More specifically, at the Austin Marriott downtown. The 4-star hotel is conveniently located right by the popular Austin Convention Center and the popular nightlife on 6th Street. Many of the dates took place at the Lobbyist, a 2-story bar and lounge in the hotel. Couples were often filmed in the bar one-on-one as they spoke about their original relationships and why they were on the show. Contestants also hung out at the lounge in group settings, where they lived during the trial marriages. The couple spent one last night with their original partners in the Austin Marriott Hotel.
This is our last night together, and it can potentially change our lives forever.
Before they started dating someone new. Once the original couple split off, they all moved into rooms at Aloft Austin downtown, which is also operated by Marriott. You can tell because if you look closely at the directories in the ground, they say Aloft and mention the downstairs restaurant Caroline. During their trial marriages, their living situation was more similar to corporate housing rather than moving into any of the cast members' homes. Colin explained some of the couples lived together coming in and some didn't, so it was just cleaner if we did what we did, which was provide them with a neutral place where you can get a fresh start at this trial marriage without the baggage of like, oh, that is your ex's whatever. What's up with those cups? You know which ones we are talking about, those silver goblets. When Love is Blind premiered its second season on Netflix, viewers took notice of the gold wine glasses the cast used for drinks in every scene. The gold cups, which came in both stemmed and stemless varieties, popped up in the pods, on the couple's vacations in Mexico, in their parents' cupboards, literally everywhere, and that was no exception in The Ultimatum. Anytime a cast member takes a drink, whether they're poolside or out at a restaurant, they use a silver wine glass. You could almost make a drinking game out of it, but there was a purpose for them, and it's for editing purposes. Since the metallic glasses are opaque as opposed to clear like most wine glasses, the show's editors can piece together scenes without worrying about continuity errors. That way, viewers can't tell how much time has passed in a date or scene based on the liquid left in a glass. Are the couples legit? Any reality show runs the risk of casting people who just want their 15 minutes of fame on TV.
Real? I don't think that engagement was real, and I would be pissed if I would elect.
So how did Netflix make sure these couples were coming on the show for the right reasons?
I just want to be known as her man.
Colin acknowledged that you can never be too sure of what someone's true intentions are coming onto the show, but his team made sure to try to do their due diligence in filtering out the bad eggs as best as possible. They did so by adding in-depth meetings with potential cast members, as well as interviewing family and friends to verify the relationships. Matchmaker. Not only were they casting couples, but producers were also looking for potential love connections among the 6 pairs. Though they never purposefully put 2 people together, the possibility was always there because someone could be compatible with another person.
Marriage for me is a financial decision and an emotional decision.
Which would explain why Jake and Ray had such great chemistry. The show's creator said we wanted to make sure every person who's participating in the experience had people that we felt like, at least on paper, that they would be interested in. They are all youngins. Some viewers found it jarring that a handful of 23-year-olds were complaining about not being married already. The oldest cast member was only 30. The show's producers said he didn't worry that they were so young. He said that the pressure to get married earlier is more present in some places around the country than others. Listen, Austin is a very cool, progressive place that I love, but there are also certain areas where the pressure to get married happens at different stages, Colin said. Sometimes people feel more pressure to get married earlier than other people do. He said that the most important element when it came to finding the couples was whether or not they felt the pressure to get married, but that they all had the desire to get married in some capacity, no matter what their age happened to be. The early dating process. Unlike Love is Blind, which had stricter guidelines for how its cast members communicated and dated inside and outside of the pods, the Ultimatum was much more loose with its rules. The creators said that because the stakes were already so high for the couples coming into the experiment, producers just followed their journey.
This whole experience has just been so crazy.
It's their real story, and the format was set up to allow them to be more natural and organic in their environment. The cast members were able to choose someone that they wanted to enter into a trial marriage with, and then they have these two experiences, and at the end, they make a decision.
I think overall, I'm just feeling a bit overwhelmed with the entire experience and
Lights, camera, action. While the couples moved into apartments that made production easier, they were still encouraged to live their normal lives as far as working, going out, having a social life, and having access to their phones and family and friends. The couples were not kept in a bubble and lived in their regular lives, and the show's crew did not film them 24/7. Production worked around them and filmed them doing their daily activities. The creators say because when couples are living life in a more normal environment, that it really helps them to make a real decision that is right for them in the end. Surprise proposals. So hopefully by now you've watched the show and you remember those shocking early proposals as the choice dinner.
What the
Will you stand up?
fuck is going on?
So at the dinner, the couples were supposed to pick their new partner to live with, but it didn't go as planned and two couples chose to get engaged, choosing to not continue with the experiment.
Will you marry me? Will you spend the rest of my life?
Absolutely. Yes, please.
But did production know about these proposals, or were their jaws as close to the floor as ours were while watching it unfold? And no, production did not know that was going to happen. Were the creators upset while they watched their show start to implode before it even got started? And the answer to that is also no. Chris Colin said he didn't want to legislate what people could or could not do. He didn't care how or when they left the show. Ultimately, he cared that they made the right decision for themselves. And we gotta admit, the double surprise proposals made for great reality viewing drama.
Are you just like a 15-year-old like flying around not understanding what's going on? Oh my god.
We gotta talk about the Zae and Colby fight. Remember the episode where Zae lays into Colby to the point where he had to move seats to not hit him? What was that all about anyway?
Owning up my shit right now?
I'm talking.
Putting your work, putting your name.
The double-edged sword of not filming all the time is not getting footage of something that becomes an important storyline. And the fact of the matter is, production did not have a camera at the bar that night to see whether or not Zae convinced a woman to kiss Colby or if Colby chose to do that himself. And that's kind of a huge bummer for us as viewers. But Colin defends their decision to not have cameras there by saying, as much as you would want it to be that, I think it is just as interesting that we don't. I don't know about you all, but I think it would have been way more interesting if the cameras had been there.
This is something that you're not capable of doing. Like, telling the truth. You're not capable of that, and I understand that.
The cast hangs out a lot. Unlike some other dating reality shows, it seems like the cast of The Ultimatum hung out together quite a bit. We saw them at bars together, out to eat, and even the cast trip to a winery. Since the cast was from Austin, some of them had jobs at bars or restaurants in the area, so some of them wanted to hang out. The creators of the show said that they weren't going to police them. If they wanted to hang out, they could, and it made for more content, if they actually had cameras there. It also created a more realistic environment where the couples could see how their significant other acted if they were allowed to go out, like in Ray and Zae's case where he stayed out till 8 in the morning. If you're talking about marriage, is that really how you want your relationship to go? It made way for a much more realistic living experience. What production secret was the most shocking to you? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons to keep up to date on all the latest reality TV gossip on The Things Reality.